Death can be a very scary thing. Sadly, it's inevitable. But that being said, there have been a number of people that have died and then come back to life. And they have shared with us what their experience was like. From a man that experienced an endless black void to a woman who was guided back down to earth by her great-grandmother. Let's talk about these stories and more in today's video. Top 10 people who saw the afterlife and came back. Starting off this countdown, we have Tony Sequoia. In 1994, a man named Tony Sequoia was struck by lightning while talking to his mom on a payphone. When he was struck, he felt his body fly backward, and then he flew forward. He turned around and he saw his own body laying on the ground. He stared at himself and felt nothing. Then he saw a woman start CPR on him. As this was going on, Tony began to float upwards. He was now floating up the stairs of his house and saw his kids getting their face painted. Then all of a sudden, he was surrounded by a bluish white light and he felt at peace. Then bam, he was back. He had been revived at the hospital. That story is just crazy for so many different reasons. Coming in at number 9, we have Misszilla. This story was shared by Edzilla. He shared the story on behalf of his wife. A couple of years ago, his wife died twice in 3 months, but was successfully resuscitated both times. But the resuscitation took a long time, almost hours. Later, she shared with him what she experienced. According to her, she remembered nothing. There was just blackness. No light, no relatives, no former pets, just blackness. But there was also no pain. Okay, so this one is like a little more depressing. And sadly, a couple months ago, she did pass away. At least her husband knows that there's no pain in the afterlife. Now, before I go any further, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel because it really helps us out and I appreciate it, so thank you. Hit that button. And at number 8, we have The Revival. This story was shared by Reddit user Old Belgian Smurf. A couple of years ago, he almost passed away from drowning. He had been dead for a number of minutes before someone pulled him out of the water and revived him. According to him, all he saw was blackness. The blackness was then followed by a number of lights. The lights turned into stars, and the stars turned into something he said he just can't explain. While this was going on, he didn't feel anything. He was just in the moment. And then before he knew it, he was alive again, laying back on the beach. Moving on to number 7, we have the surgery gone wrong. Over 10 years ago, Reddit user Monitor Monkey underwent a huge surgery. However, it went wrong. During the surgery, he bled out and he was pronounced dead. That's when he woke up in what he described as space. But there weren't any stars or lights. He was just kind of floating in this void, and he didn't feel anything. He wasn't hot or cold or hungry or tired. He just felt at peace. Then he remembers thinking back to his life. Now, it wasn't like his life flashing before his eyes. He was just thinking back to moments in his life. Then he was saved and brought back to life. He disappeared from this space area and was back in his body on the operating table. Now, quite a few people talk about this black void space. It's really quite interesting. Coming in at number 6, we have Mary C. Neal. Mary C. Neal is an orthopedic surgeon who several years ago experienced the afterlife. This occurred when she almost drowned while out kayaking in Chile. Her heart stopped for more than half an hour. I know, that's crazy. Well, soon after, she felt herself leaving her body. She was then greeted by a group of beings, some of who she knew, some of who she didn't. She felt nothing but peace and happiness in their company. Then all of a sudden she was aware that she was headed to heaven, but also aware of what was happening to her on the riverbank where she had drowned. Then, like everyone else on this list, she was saved and brought back into her body. After this experience, she went on to write the book 7 Lessons from Heaven. We are now at our 5th and halfway mark with the drugs. Reddit user, I don't know, stop asking me, that's literally their name, shared the story of the time his uncle passed away and then was brought back to life. So several years ago, his uncle had overdosed. He was gone for 2 minutes. According to his uncle, while his brain and body shut down, he was sitting at a picnic table at a park behind his childhood home. He was sitting there with someone. He didn't know who, but he knew that he loved them. He was talking to them when they said, "I'll see you later, remember me." Then after this, he was revived. After that experience, he quit drugs for good. Moving on to number 4, we have the dad. Whiskey Nostalgic on Reddit shared her dad's story with the afterlife. So when her dad passed away, apparently he was transported into this long hallway. At the end of this hallway, there was a door. He walked down the hallway towards the door. But just as he was about to open it, he felt himself get sucked away and back into his own body. Now, what I want to know is what was behind the door? Was it heaven? Was it that void some people have described? I really want to know. In our third spot, we have the great-grandmother. This next person was pronounced dead 2 times in one night. That night, they had gotten into a really bad car accident. All they remember is being pulled out of the car by their great-grandmother. They both then walked through a field of flowers together. She felt at peace. 2 weeks later, she woke up in the hospital. There, she saw her great-grandmother tell her everything was going to be okay before she disappeared. Her great-grandmother had passed away when she was 10 and came back to guide her back to her body. Like, that's an amazing story. Moving on to number 2, we have Jane Seymour. Actress Jane Seymour also had an experience with the afterlife. This occurred in 1988 while she was filming Onassis. While filming, she went into an anaphylactic shock after her bronchitis antibiotics were injected into her vein instead of her muscle. All of a sudden, she saw the infamous white light, and she was looking down on herself from above. She could see the nurse frantically try to save her, and thankfully, she did. All of a sudden, she flew back down and was back in her own body. And in our number 1 spot, we have Eben Alexander. In 2008, neurosurgeon Eben Alexander slipped into a coma after being infected by a rare case of meningitis. When this happened, he was encountered by this spinning clear light. He described this as a portal that opened up another realm. He called it the Gateway Valley. He went on to say it was filled with vibrant plants and flowers and crystal pools. Everything was beautiful and bright. There was also thousands of people there dancing, and gold orbs flew in the sky. After being unconscious for a week, he woke up. Miraculously, he didn't suffer from any brain damage. He went on to write the book Proof of Heaven, and in there he describes in great detail the experience that he went through. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which story you found the most fascinating. Honestly, they all were pretty fascinating. And now let's move on to our comment shout-out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video, Top 10 Karens That Ruined 2021. Pop Stupid commented, I tried to join as fast as James could say, hi sisters. Hi sisters, James Charles here. I actually met him at Playlist Live last year. So that was an interesting experience. Never thought I would meet him, but I mean, that's cool. Daily Random Facts commented, Daily Facts, spotted skunks do handstands before they spray. That is a cool daily random fact. Like, do they do the handstand to spray, or are they just kind of like, watch me do a handstand? Pfft, jokes, gotcha. I don't know. Depressed Rat commented, good job, Lindsay. I watch all of your guys' videos. Everyone sub to Lindsay's channel too. Well, I mean, you're the one that said it, so if you want to, just click at Lindsay Iden. Anyways, alright guys, that's all the comments I'm showing out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya.